The theme of this past month has been the word audacious. I freaking love that word. And I'll tell you a few different reasons why. Yesterday, I was at a Stanford informational panel for those who want to get into the business school. I was one of the panelists. It was around 200 people at the top of 3 World Trade Center. The question that was asked was, how do you make the most out of your business school experience? My advice was, don't be bold, be audacious. And that's something that I would apply to those who are not even in business school, but just like in life. Like I still live by that word, which is be audacious. Everyone's always like, be bold. Well, yeah, no, duh. Everyone wants to be bold. We have children's books that are written about being bold and being brave. We're taught this at a very young age. But the fact of the matter is that being bold is really freaking hard. It inherently implies that there are scary things that we have to face. It's the dragon in the children's book that we have to face. It's the scary meeting that we have where we have to tell someone, I don't know if they're going to work out anymore. Like all these different elements require bravery. But the issue that I have with just telling someone to be bold is the definitional value of bold is that there are limits. There's guardrails that you're working with, whether it's visible or invisible. Rather, when you say be audacious, it's like being bold, but there's like an extra. It's feral boldness. That's why I like the word audacity, especially when you're not used to doing scary things. Maybe you're doing scary things for the first time. Maybe you're just kind of getting in the habit of cold emailing, or maybe you're in the habit of doing door-to-door sales, or you're talking about investors. You have to be brave and be bold. But to make magic happen, especially when you're a founder or doing something that no one else is really doing yet, requires bending reality to your will. We hear that phrase a lot. Okay, so if your job is to bend reality to your will, then you have to be audacious. You have to play in a space where the rules don't necessarily apply. And that's what audacity is. Audacity is understanding that there's levels of silliness in the ask that you're about to make. Your ask could be so egregiously unreasonable, but if you shoot your shot, it might just happen. Audacity sets us free. That's what I think, at least. When you're being audacious, your job is actually to write down a list of 10 people, 10 things, 10 whatevers that are probably impossible, at least in current state, that you think are a little impossible. But you write them down and you go after them one by one by one. And it turns out that actually one does hit. And you're like, whoa, I can't believe it hit. And you start to realize that you were dreaming too small. And that's the cool thing about audacity, is that it gives you permission to embrace the goals and the dreams or the wish list items that you have that are just at current state, they seem a little too crazy. That's why I call it feral boldness. But man, does it free you, right? It frees you to go after things that you wouldn't have even allowed yourself to think of. Because being bold in some ways actually is suffocating. You're stuck within a container. Whereas being audacious, well, fuck, you can do anything, right? You want to go reach out to Taylor Swift? You can. You want to have your film be featured in IMAX because you're a first-time director? You can. I mean, that's literally what the Abdallah brothers did. First-time directors had a dream to create a feature film. They actually did one. That movie won Best International Motor Picture Award, and they'd never directed before. And they had 30 days to find a way to get IMAX to approve this, to get the special cameras needed where, by the way, there's only 3 of them, and 2 of them were being rented out by Christopher Nolan, and they got 1 of them. To get the permission to even film when they'd already way past the deadline for getting the accreditations. But they wrote it down, and then they made it happen because their word was be audacious. So for anyone out there who's like trying to just send it, is trying to go after it, but you're feeling a little reserved, maybe the way to think about it is, how can you just be more audacious every day? That's a question that I find myself writing. How can I have been more audacious today? How can I be more audacious tomorrow? And that list starts to get more and more real. And then the moment one of those hits, well, wow, you just broke whatever limit you had before. So don't be bold. Be motherfucking audacious.